July 26th, 2015. Welcome to a special episode of Faces and Aces Las Vegas, a podcast where we share great Vegas stories and discuss tips and tricks on how to make your next Vegas trip a better experience. This episode in the Faces segment, we talk to my Airbnb host, Kate. She shares some funny stories about growing up in Vegas, and she tells me what it's like hosting complete strangers in her home. In the Aces segment, I share my experience staying at the off-strip hotel, The Element. And in the Tip the Player segment, two Las Vegas locals give us an eye-opening piece of advice. Our website is facesandaceslv.com. Our email address is contact@facesandaceslv.com. And our phone number is 702-381-3657. A little bit of this town goes a long way. Rolling.
Go ahead.
Welcome to Faces and Aces Las Vegas. Sitting to my left is the wonderful
Aaron, and we have a special guest today, don't we, Chris?
We do, because sitting to my right is an empty chair. Normally we have the lovely Katie sitting here with us. However, today she's taken ill and can't join us. So we have Adam from the Vegas Fanboy podcast sitting in with us. Hey, welcome, buddy.
Hey, guys. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We have another reason to have you here. You are celebrating your 1-year anniversary of doing your podcast, are you not?
I am, yes. It's pretty exciting. I haven't bragged much this year about it, so I think that's kind of successful, right?
And all the wealth and the riches that come in from doing a podcast, I'm sure you shower in gold.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. I'm still using coupons at the grocery store, so.
You filled your pool with gold coin like Scrooge McDuck,
Yes.
and you go swimming in it every day, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Oh, and the power, too, that a podcast, lets you have. The political power is enormous, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, automatic TSA pre-check. I think that's what happens.
So how was your week? Aaron, how was your week?
My week was good. I didn't go to Vegas, though, this week, so I'm a little disappointed with that. We're trying to go every other podcast, at least one of us, right?
We do have that running joke going on the podcast that it seems like every time we sit down to record, someone has gone in between. Not that we're specifically shooting for that. That's just kind of how it worked out. And this time, my wife and I are the two people who went out to Vegas last weekend. Well, okay, I have to be honest. We stopped by Vegas. We didn't necessarily go there. We really went to Red Rock. Yeah. Well, technically, I was in Summerlin, which is right next to Red Rock.
There are Red Rocks there, that you could see.
It's gorgeous out there. Have you been, Adam? Have you been out to Red Rock?
I've not been out to Red Rock. That's, I think, the one hotel or resort that I really want to get to that I haven't been to yet.
We'll test him on that later.
Yeah. Although my advice would be, don't book a room. Just make a stop.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a nice property. I've always said I really am a big fan of the buffet there. The $7.99 buffet or whatever. That's very good.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're in the middle of Red Rocks.
I heard it's a good place for conventions. Where if you're going to a convention there, it's actually pretty nice because you kind of get that little nice, calming little break from the strip. But and they also good video poker, from what I understand. But definitely on my list.
That's actually interesting you say that, because we could not find one Jacks or Better machine anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and we went to all over the casino. There was not one. They had all the different Deuces Wild and all those, but I couldn't find a Jacks or Better. Mind you, I didn't ask. I could have, and maybe that would have pointed me in the right direction. But that's a pretty common mainstay for a casino. So I was surprised.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was a little surprised they didn't have it.
I don't know how credible that is, but in general, the casinos change the machines they have all the time. So, it could be very likely that they didn't have anything, or you just didn't ask.
Yeah, yeah.
But they should be easier to find. It's a very popular game.
It's common.
Yeah, it's like the game.
Also, just as a little side note, No, I'm going to go ahead and leave that out. Yeah, because you know what? I'm just going to save it for the dog episode. I was going to talk a little bit about the reason why we stopped by downtown Vegas and in the Strip is we did a little bit of reconnaissance for our Viva Dog Vegas episode that's coming up in the near future. Being a dog owner, I have to kind of come up with interesting solutions for heading out to Vegas with the dog. And so we actually went to a whole bunch of doggy daycare places all throughout. But no need to tease it. We should just talk about it on that episode.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I come up with creative excuses, and you're coming up with creative solutions. I have to go pick up something from Las Vegas. I joined the Sin Shop, though. I'm officially a member now of the Sin Shop, so that will give me a few excuses to actually get out there and see what membership entails.
That is pretty cool. I am impressed with it. Have you heard of the Sin Shop, Adam?
No, I have not.
On one of the last podcasts, Chris challenged me, he said, you can't become a member of this place because of, I don't know why you said I couldn't do it.
Because you don't live in Las Vegas. You live in LA.
But that didn't really stop me. So it's basically a hacker club, and they don't mean hacker in the derogatory term, sure. But they're kind of a fix-it sort of group, and they have these nights like bring your own project in or learn welding or learn lock picking. So it's really up my alley, especially. So I'm excited to see what kind of workshops they have, and even maybe do one or two of my own. Yeah, almost like a Mythbusters for a collective group, where someone will bring in a project and everyone will work on it together to find the solution. Yeah, I'm going to see if they can help me fix my bumper that I broke on my car.
Nice.
We'll see if that works out.
I had my check engine light out for like a month. So
let's all experiment.
Yeah.
So one other thing that I did want to bring up, non-Vegas related, is, Aaron, I know I talked about this with you yesterday.
People can't see that you're pointing to me now.
There's no need to point it out. Okay, which finger am I pointing at you now? So Adam, have you heard about the Hitchbot?
No, I have not.
Get ready.
We just had so much fun talking about this. I just can't believe it exists.
It's a very amusing story. So last summer, I got together for a family picnic. And what was happening at the time that I brought up to everybody is there's a thing called the Hitchbot, which is a hitchhiking robot. And Canadians, as a social experiment, wanted to see, they put together this little robot that has GPS, a very simple graphic interface so it could communicate with people in a very limited way. There's a little bit of artificial intelligence in there. And they started at one side of Canada, and they wanted to see if just the good-natured people of Canada would take this little robot from one side of the country to the other. And so it had a sign that says, I'm trying to get to, from this part to this part. Please pick me up and take me as far as you can, and then leave me by the side of the road, and someone else will pick me up and take me further. And so at the time, at the family picnic, we all joked around and said, this is very amusing. This is very delightful. There's no way this thing would make it in America.
They said, no way. I mean, they brought that thing in Detroit. They would take it apart and sell it for parts or something.
I mean, it's a plush toy or whatever with an iPad face. How quickly do you expect that to not get stolen? Or worse, defiled.
Yeah.
I mean, if you, the listener, are curious, look up Hitchbot, HITCHBOT. It basically looks like a plastic drum with pool noodles attached to the sides for arms and legs. It has rubber gloves and rubber boots and a kind of a clear dome where there's some sort of maybe an iPad or something inside of it. And so the new goal is to get it from, and mind you, this Hitchbot has traveled Netherlands, it's traveled Germany, and now they're trying America.
Now I'm going to be on the lookout for it. It's going to make it through Detroit to my little city. It's just there's no way.
Well, I don't know if Detroit is part of the agenda. It might be. You never know where it's going to end up.
On the map, aren't they circling everywhere around Detroit because they want it to be successful?
Yeah.
on the map, there's a big red X through.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah.
So it started off in Boston, I'd say about 5 or 6 days ago. And when I was telling Aaron about it last night, it was pretty funny because in Boston, people were picking it up, but they weren't taking it anywhere. They were taking it on trips with them within Boston. They took it to a baseball game.
Yeah, they're going to the bar, and that's
exactly.
They didn't go where it wanted to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone took it on a boat trip, took it 2 miles out to sea, and then brought it back. And meanwhile, the people who were watching the GPS were kind of scratching their heads, going, "Wait a minute, what's going on?" They were a little bit scared because they thought someone was going to drop it off in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, they're getting the Godfather treatment.
And you have to charge this thing too. It doesn't come with a solar battery pack, so people have to charge and care for it. You're signing up for somewhat of a commitment.
God.
You know,
Yeah,
someone's
like
just going.
now.
Yeah, someone's going to just leave it by the side of the road at some point.
Well, that's the point. They're supposed to leave it by the side of the road.
But the bad side.
I can't even keep my phone charged for half an hour. I can't take care of the spot.
So
you want to be the one to take it to Vegas, Chris?
Oh, well, okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So the good news is that as of right before recording this podcast, I looked it up and someone had taken it from Boston to Times Square. So one of the goals, one of the goals has been accomplished. It has seen Times Square, but on that checklist. Oh wait, Aaron, you're looking at me like.
No, I was just thinking. Do you think they actually were going to Times Square anywhere? They made a separate trip to take this computer experiment to this iPad on a can to New York. I mean, I bet they just did it for fun, and it's fascinating.
Well, the only instructions, as far as I'm aware of, it says, please take me to San Francisco on it. But online, there is a bucket list of things that he wants to accomplish, or he, she, it, whatever. But Times Square was part of it. Grand Canyon was on the list. Las Vegas is on the list. So here's what I'm wondering. If it does make it to Detroit,
Yeah.
I need you to intercept the robot.
To go to Vegas.
Huh?
Yeah. I got an excuse to go to Vegas now.
There you go.
Yeah, and you need to buy him his own seat now because they're very particular on the planes now.
True.
Oh man!
So good luck with the ID for that bot.
That's right. Well, I got the TSA pre-check now, so I think I can just go right through. Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I love this story so much because I want to put it in an Uber in Vegas. I want to start it off over at, say, I don't know, Luxor. I want to put it in an Uber or a cab and tell the cab driver, drop this off over at the Wynn.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
And then I want to time how long before the bomb squad comes in and blows up the robot.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh man, but I really do want to be the person to take it from Vegas to LA whenever that robot shows up in Vegas.
I want to leave it somewhere in Baker. That's what I want to do. I want to leave him by the thermometer.
You've done that drive, haven't you? Like your last trip, you came out on your last trip, I was so impressed with what you did because it was too expensive to fly into McCarran. You flew into LAX where it was cheaper and then drove out with your buddies.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, and not even like it was like a little bit cheaper. I want to say per person, it was like $200 or $300 cheaper to fly in to LA, which was insane because it was the fight weekend, the big Manny Pacquiao. So yeah, and we had already booked our hotel beforehand. The only thing we didn't buy were the flights because it was too early. And then the flight got announced, and all the flights were sold out directly to Vegas. We're like, well, we're going. We just got to figure something out.
So you're familiar with the drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas up the 15, yeah?
Yeah, I had we rented a car. It was like a Kia. I think it was just like a go-kart, actually. So going up those hills, I thought we were going to have to push it. But it wasn't a bad drive, though. We kind of enjoyed it.
So when it does show up to Vegas, first I would like for you to be the one to bring it to Las Vegas. Hand it off to us.
There you go.
I promise you we'll take good care of it.
Chris promises he'll take good care of it.
And I have so many ideas of the way I can just mischievously play with this thing.
That sounds dirty. I just want to find a way to get it to work for me.
It's not that kind of a robot, Eric.
Can it clean the house?
Oh, like a Roomba.
Yeah,
Attach a little Roomba to it so it cleans everywhere it goes.
All right. Oh man. Honestly, do you think it'll actually reach its destination?
I mean, I don't know. If it doesn't get stolen, then sure, but I don't know.
I mean, if you put in if it doesn't get stolen, then it doesn't reach its destination.
Well, then I'm right.
No, but what do you think, Adam? What do you think? Do you think it's actually going to make it to San Francisco?
I think it will. I think people are kind of having fun with it, and it seems like the right people are coming in contact with it so far. So
Yeah.
I was just looking it up now as you guys were talking. But yeah, it's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
A little experiment.
I'm scared for it. I really am. I would love for it to reach. I don't know if it's going to make it.
We'll see.
Our hopes and prayers go with the little robot.
Someone cracks the screen.
Yes, Godspeed.
Yes. May the wind be at your back and
Exactly.
the road rise up to meet you. All right. Shall we roll into the news? News story number 0. It's 0 because this is breaking news. We just got this news yesterday. Huge fire engulfs Cosmopolitan pool deck. I tell you what, let's make a game out of this. Can you guess what song I chose? Because for the listener at home, we can hear the music. Because of technical problems, Adam can't. He can't hear the music intro. Can you guess what song I picked for the intro for this news story?
Ooh, what's love got to do with it? Is that Tina Turner? Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
What's love? Oh, I don't have. Nope. I went with Smoke on the Water.
So I was a little off. I don't know why Tina Turner popped into my head, but for some reason, it's all I could think of.
I don't know why either. I can't put that one together. We'll think of something. Right. So the news story is the Cosmopolitan's bamboo pool on the 14th floor caught fire Saturday afternoon, sending huge plumes of black smoke into the sky. The massive blaze started around 12:15 p.m. and was fueled by cabanas and artificial palm trees. The fire was put out in about 30 minutes. One person was sent to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Cause of the fire has not yet been determined. Yeah, as of this recording, we don't know, but only one person was minorly injured for smoke inhalation, so we could crack all the jokes we want.
The one that just like stood there. That's like, oh, what's going on? What's this? And then passed out.
Yeah. You don't want to be the one person injured from something like this, right?
You know it's their fault if they are.
Yeah. The friends are like, Mary, and now she just ruined the whole trip. And
Well, I don't understand how a pool catches fire.
Oh, those artificial trees are like paper.
And if Axe body spray is flammable, then I think we have probably a good justification.
That's exactly what happened. Someone was putting on their Axe body spray while someone else was lighting a cigarette.
Yeah, don't smoke around a guy with all that Axe on.
And the whole thing just went woof. The whole thing went up. But, and it's just
Like
funny.
a Korean Christmas Vacation or something.
So I want to
Christmas,
see what
yeah.
their rebuild design is. How they space out the trees later. I've been to that pool. I'll see what the deal is.
No, I just
I
imagine.
know it's open today.
Is it open already?
It's probably open
already.
without all the trees, though.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just imagine as soon as it caught fire, you have a whole bunch of drunk people out by the pool saying, throw alcohol on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just funny juxtaposition because you have this raging fire and then this big pool of water literally at the base of the fire.
What do we do?
All they needed was a big guy to do a cannonball into the pool. Problem solved.
Yeah.
And they probably need to get a big hose up there from the bottom all the way to the top, too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you, is this a good PR thing? It's not really any PR. Isn't that really good PR?
Yeah.
So everyone's talking about Cosmo. Hey, I should stay there. It won't catch on fire when I'm there. It's not stopping me from staying there again. So, have we thought that they could have done this themselves?
Ooh, that's an interesting point.
I do know that there is, when they built City Center right there, they actually have a fire department stationed in there, which made the response time a lot quicker, which is good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And, I still go into Monte Carlo. That caught fire a while ago. I can't remember how many years ago. But I think you're right. It doesn't probably affect me going to Scottsdale.
Yeah. I remember when the Stratosphere caught fire when they were building it. That's old school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was there. I started. I was around there somewhere.
You're just aging yourself now.
I know I am. But at the time, they were having problems funding the building, so we were kind of all sitting around talking, I wonder if that was a quote-unquote accidental fire that just happened.
Insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was no Axe body spray in the 90s, so you can rule that out.
That was Old Spice.
That's Dracar Noir.
Aqua Velva.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we'll go to the next news story, since the last news story was 0. News story number 1. Zappos CEO lives in Las Vegas trailer park. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to source the other story. The other story we picked up off of TMZ. All right, news story number 1. Zappos CEO lives in Las Vegas trailer park.
Sometimes I wish I lived in an Airstream. Homemade curtains lift just like a gypsy.
Do you have a guess to the song? The mystery song?
Oh, okay. So it's about, let's see, it's about Zappos owner. So maybe a song about shoes. I don't know any shoes songs.
This is a tough game.
It is a tough game.
I have no guesses. I'm looking at a shoe song on YouTube right now, and it's a guy in drag, so I'm not even going to go there.
Although, when you did say it should be about shoes, I thought, wow, that would have been a much better way to go.
This is how you're choosing the music.
I went with Miranda Lambert. She has a song called Airstream.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Country's the way to go.
That one was a little, I know, especially when it comes to living in a trailer. A lot of songs about that, not surprisingly.
Yeah, I was going to go with like Kid Rock maybe with trailer park stuff. But
Right. So our source is the Business Insider. Zappos CEO Tony Hsieh may be worth $840 million, but he chooses to live in an Airstream trailer park. Hsieh owns the trailer park that he calls Llamaopolis, and he's currently renting the trailers to visiting computer coders. The trailer park community that he's building is part of an urban camping experiment. The community also features community campfires and a shared kitchen housed in a shipping container. Kind of cool. This is a whole fleet of Airstream trailers that he has rented out. I want to stay there.
Yeah, do you have to pass some kind of coding test?
I don't know. Did you see the story?
The door unlocks with a Java algorithm.
Oh, okay. Nice way to be relatable to the listeners.
Door unlocks with computer thingy.
All the guys at the Sin Shop just cracked up. Yeah, he's a man of the people. And I understand that he really actually does love the community of Las Vegas, and he's invested a lot of his own money to help downtown Las Vegas come back.
Well, that container park's really cool place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's had a lot of missteps, but you're right. I mean, I can't fault the guy because he likes Vegas, he likes being there, and he's put a lot of money into it. So he can do whatever the heck he wants, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I would honestly, if they were to rent it out, that would be one of my options the next trip. If I could actually stay in the trailer park, I think that would be fun. Yeah,
it's kind of a neat. Well, they used to have Circus had like a little trailer park, the BYO, but
Yeah, but this one is they're all Airstream trailers are teched out. They all have TV, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Like he's not living. When you say trailer park, you have a certain vision comes to mind. But these are high-tech trailers, so it's not like he gave up a lot by moving out of his nice apartment into these things. Yeah,
that would be an interesting lodging kind of option right there in Fremont Street area. If you had a little upscale trailer park like this, you can rent out for a week or so.
Yeah. The news story number 2: changes to drinking laws for downtown Las Vegas.
With these Changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes, nothing remains quite the same.
Any guesses?
I'm going to keep the country thing going with bottoms up. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh, I thought you almost nailed it. Not quite country, but we went with Jimmy Buffett, Changes in Attitudes.
Oh, okay.
And this is actually an old news story that comes out from about a year ago. But it's news to me. I didn't know any of this, so I figure if anyone hasn't heard this, it's good news to have. This comes from the Living Pages. Many new bars, lounges, and restaurants have helped to increase the popularity of downtown Las Vegas. But many tourists don't know that the drinking laws in downtown Las Vegas are different from the laws on the Strip. Here's a quick rundown of the current and sometimes confusing do's and don'ts. If you buy a beer in a casino, you can walk anywhere with it. If you buy a beer at a bar or a tavern, you must finish the drink inside the property. If you buy a beer at a liquor store, you may not drink that beer in public unless you transfer it to a second container, a plastic cup, an aluminum bottle, etc., etc. No glass. Oh, wait, I take that back. No glass or aluminum or plastic bottles and cans. That's confusing. It says no. Well, basically, the bottom line is no consumption from the original container. So you need to transfer it to a different container.
You can't have it in the retail packaging. You have to pretend like it was served to you at a hotel.
Right. And these are all the rules if you are in the Fremont experience. Now, if you go outside the Fremont experience to one of the grocery stores, have at it. You could walk in, pick up a beer, go to the parking lot, and drink it right there. That's fine.
Yeah, and I think there's no glass bottles on the Strip either anymore.
Oh, well, that's news. I didn't know that.
I think.
Do they still serve glass bottles inside the bar or inside the casinos?
Yes.
So you can't take it outside. You need to finish it.
You can finish it, or you can put it in a. They all have like little plastic cups, like the red Solo cups, but they're just branded. And you pour it in before you walk out.
Yeah.
Just one single tear just went down. How do you feel about it? Are you cool with this, Aaron?
So you were mentioning, Chris, that, this was started because people bring like coolers of liquor to their rooms and they find every way to avoid purchasing drinks from the establishments that support the industry.
Well, that is part of the problem that Las Vegas is having. A lot of people are coming from Arizona and California and bringing their own drinks as opposed to purchasing drinks at the bars. Or purchasing fewer drinks at the bars because they're getting trashed in their rooms first and then coming out for the night. And it's ridiculous because they're walking into their hotel rooms dragging a ice chest full of drinks behind them. And I don't know who to blame here. I'm really on the fence on this story because on one hand, if you're going to a city, enjoy the city, eat there, drink there, spend money there. That's the whole point of the city if it's a city that lives off of the revenue of tourists. On the other hand, if you've made it so expensive that people are bringing their own drinks in from out of state, I don't know what to tell you.
I think that it's going to be expensive regardless if you buy the drinks, and some people are the type who will just, even if it's $1, they'll want to get a big case of something for a cheaper price. So, as long as they sneak it into their room, no one's searching their bags. All they're saying is just don't drag a cooler through our lobby and class up the place.
Good point. Yeah. I mean, I know some hotels have flat out outlawed it. If they see you with a cooler, they will send you back out.
Yeah. I know for the Strip, at least, they were doing it because they didn't like, I guess there's a problem with broken glass bottles kind of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not something I noticed, but I was never really looking out for it. But I think downtown has had kind of some issues with the drinking laws and pushing out different alcohol distributors, right? So even like right now, Las Vegas Club is trying to put in almost like a pharmacy type thing where they can sell alcohol, and the rest of Fremont's kind of pushing against that. So it's interesting, but I haven't had a problem with it at all. It's just, put it in a little plastic container and then you can just walk around. So you can still have alcohol when you're walking around. I've even had it where I've started in my room. I made sure it was in a plastic container when I was walking out of my room and out and having it stopped. I don't know if that's unethical or illegal, but haven't had a problem yet. So
I think it also depends who your overall attitude. I find that I don't get stop too many places, even if I was carrying a glass bottle, as long as I'm not being a rowdy group of teenagers. I don't think I get stopped too often.
Yeah. I mean, and personally, I don't think I've ever brought drinks with me to Las Vegas. In my mind, that's like bringing sand to the beach. I don't know why you would do that. But
maybe the beach is out of sand and you wanted to.
Maybe the sand's really expensive at the beach.
Yeah. $10 a cup of sand. Geez.
$1 a grain or something.
But it's a generational thing, isn't it? I mean, it's not really. I don't do what my generation does or whatever. But I think more people are being more creative about these sorts of things than in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, at least from groups I've been with, if you get a big group of non-gamblers, like for me, if I know I'm gambling, I don't have to drink in my room, so I don't really get, that basically the whole time I'm on the floor.
Yeah.
A bunch of non-gamblers, it's a really kind of cheap way to start the night out, I think.
Yeah, I mean, or even when you're sitting at the table, you order a drink and then hand it off to your buddy who's not playing. I mean, as long as you didn't abuse it too much, people look the other way. But it seems like it's getting a little bit out of hand. Like each side is escalating just a little bit further.
But now they have all these rules with even giving you free drinks.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so for you, I remember you told me something where, oh, no, you could only have one beer per something.
Per half hour. At the MGM casinos, you get one drink every half hour if you're playing video poker and you show them your Players Club card. You have to do all those qualifications before you can get a drink.
It's almost not like a free drink anymore.
On the contrary to that, I will say a really good place for that is Golden Gate. I was there recently, and I was playing with a buddy. We were both playing for about an hour or so. I got wiped out, and so I was just standing there watching him for like a good 20 minutes, a half hour. I've been tipping pretty well off and on. Yeah. And they came around for a drink, and they still offered me the drink even though I wasn't sitting down anymore, just because they knew I was there and kind of being generous. So that was, I still think downtown was the best place for that. But that was super nice. Yeah, I really liked that. That really stuck out. The Golden Gate for that.
Okay. News story number 3. The Mirage volcano to erupt less frequently.
A long, long time ago, there was a volcano living all alone in the middle of the sea.
Adam, I am not even going to make you guess this one. You're never going to get it.
I was just going to say...
Explosions by Ellie Goulding.
I went with the song Lava that was in the animated short that appeared just before Inside Out, the Pixar movie.
Oh, it's my second guess.
Was it really?
No.
I was so impressed for a second there.
No, I haven't seen that yet, so I have no idea.
Good movie. A lot of people really enjoyed Inside Out.
I do want to go see it.
This story comes to us from the Associated Press. The Mirage volcano will no longer erupt every half hour as it's done every night for the last 25 years. The new schedule will be 8 and 9 p.m. with an additional 10 p.m. eruption on Friday and Saturday. A spokesman from the MGM Resorts said, "With the variety of options on the Las Vegas Strip today, in contrast to 25 years ago, it made sense to us to reduce the number of shows in a way that wouldn't diminish the visitor experience." That sounds like a lot of bunk to me.
They're saving money, but it makes sense.
I mean, not that I lived and died for the volcano. Although Adam and I did have a guy. We hung out with a guy whose sister lived and died for that pirate show over Treasure Island.
Yeah. I never knew anyone to seek it out. So it was like, oh, the volcano's erupting in like 20 minutes. We got to get there.
Yeah.
I'm sure 20 years ago it was a bigger deal. Same thing with you think this is going to set the trend for the Bellagio fountains too?
Yeah.
I mean, Bellagio, I don't know how frequent they are either, but I'm sure it's too frequent.
Sure. Yeah, it costs a ton of money.
The pirate show ended at Treasure Island, all the little free attractions for the average, for the general tourist who's just taking in the city. They're maybe not big gamblers. Maybe they're just taking in the city. I feel a little bit sad for them that they weren't able to experience it in the heyday.
I don't feel sad for them.
No, what was interesting because with the TI show going down, basically they were just competing against themselves. They were both MGM resorts. It's Bellagio and Mirage.
Oh. Yeah.
What are we doing here? Just spending money against each other.
Good point. Yeah. let's go ahead and move on to the final story. A marketing campaign aims to boost .vegas domain registration. Dot. Dot. Quick guess on that one?
I don't know any song related to domain registration.
Yeah.
It seems like it was a custom song.
Yeah. Which one of you wrote the domain?
Our source is the Las Vegas Sun. .Vegas Inc. will be launching a 6-month television campaign starting in August to raise awareness about the alternative domain. The city of Las Vegas makes 10% off of each .Vegas sale. Since releasing the new domain to the public, sales have been lagging. Currently, there are about 15,000 registrations with the .Vegas domain name compared to 80,000 for .nyc and 64,000 for .london. Prices for the domain name at GoDaddy.com start at about $29 a year.
So just to clarify, that we're referring to domain name extensions, so the part after the dot. So you see very commonly a lot of .com, .net, .edu, but they're coming up with extra ones like .vegas, .nyc, and other ones. So just trying to clarify that that's what we're referring to.
Correct. Any temptation to get Vegas Fanboy .Vegas?
No, only because I'm worth so little that no one would even bother. no one's going to sit on it like a piece of real estate. Like, I can't wait till he pays me $1 million for this.
How about getting Caesars Entertainment .Vegas?
That might be one, yeah. Although the actual domain name, how much you pay for that, it's actually worth more than the entire Caesars Corporation right now. I think it'd be worth. I think their stock fell to below $5. It's like you could buy the name or like 5 shares of stock. And, yeah.
You could buy the domain and then trade that domain name for one of their casinos.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, man? Should we get the .Vegas? Should we register some .Vegas domains? They're expensive.
A lot of the domain extensions that are unusual are usually at the $30 price point.
Yeah, I looked up ours and it was $54 a year.
Yeah, they open up these new availability they run out of space for .com, so they want to sell domain extensions, and those are at a premium.
You're the perfect person to ask, Aaron, because this is your world. This is your world. Why is it so expensive? Is it just because I can go to GoDaddy and get a .com for $9.99? Why is this $60?
You could go to GoDaddy and get a .com domain that fluctuates between, let's say, $2.99 and $20, depending on what it is. The problem is the availability of these is becoming more and more and more scarce. So if you look at a .com, I could search for my first name, my middle name, my last name, and 1, 2, 3, and I probably still won't find the .com available for my full name. So businesses in Vegas or in other industries that are very popular, like Vegas, New York, .travel even, they're willing to pay a premium for the shorter name, their name .travel, and because of that, it's a higher price.
But even though sales are lagging, wouldn't that drop the price down? Because honestly, if the price was comparable to a .com domain, I would buy 10 of them. I would get, I would pick up Vegas Fanboy podcast and 360 Vegas and just hand them out like Christmas gifts.
I mean, it's personally not as appealing to me.
Yeah.
But it's all a matter of time. So there's some of these older extensions that right now that they're newer, they're expensive, and GoDaddy, as the registrar, controls all of the prices for that. So at some point they'll drop it down and wholesale them for nothing. I could buy a .org for nothing.
I don't know, which ones would you be interested in scooping up, Adam?
Oh man, I was just looking at you just right now, the .Vegas, and virtually anyone that's worth having is taken already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But if I got, Adam.Vegas, I could live with that, I guess. That's probably taken.
The problem is telling people that, there's so much of a social, training that goes involved. You tell someone, oh, my email address is Adam
Vegas.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
It's a mind bender.
Yeah, it's Adam at adam.vegas.
Yeah. That is kind of fun, though. It would be Adam at vegasfanboy.vegas.
I know. I have an unusual personal email address, and it's confusing enough, let alone using a domain extension. So,
do you think it's worth squatting on any of these domain names? Because, okay, here's the deal. In terms of any corporations that would want the .vegas, it's easy for them to argue in court and just take it away from you if that's your plan to squat on it.
Yeah, a lot of people just think they can buy up, Cosmopolitan.Vegas or whatever, and truthfully, the hotels or the whomever wants it will give you a good price for it, double, triple, maybe $1,000 for it, just so that they don't have to deal with it. But if you hold out, they'll just take you to court and take it from you. So there's a lot of legal precedent to support that.
Is there opportunity here, though? Can you think of any really good?
There's a lot of firms that go through and buy domain names and try to sell them and protect them. But really, unless you have a business, a business that's established prior to that other business, you don't have a lot of ownership over that, even though you actually own the domain. Right. If your intention was to purchase it to squat on it and then sell it, basically blackmail a company for it.
Right. I was just trying to think of a clever domain to purchase, not necessarily New York Casino.Vegas, but just something fun that you could hold on to. Maybe someone would want to purchase from you.
Well, I would bet you they're already all taken. Everything clever you can think of is already taken.
Yeah.
That's why they'll come out with another domain extension.
Yeah. What did you look up, Adam?
I was just looking up the standard. Well, I was actually looking up like basic ones, like casino.Vegas and stuff like that. But you're right. I'm always kind of ambivalent about that. I just don't like. I had a buddy who had a website, and some guy was basically just sitting on the domain that he wanted, not doing anything with it. It just kind of always rubbed me the wrong way when people do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's aside from it, it's not. I don't know if I would go so far as to call it unethical, but it's a punk ass move.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Actually, in our kind of throwing this around back and forth, I think we answered the question that I posed at the very beginning. Why are they so expensive? To prevent people from just squatting on them. Because if you buy 10 of them at $50 a pop, that's a lot of money. That's a decent investment.
Yeah, you really have to pick and choose.
Yeah, that may have answered our question. Okay. So I think that's it. That's all that we have for news. And that's what happened in Vegas. This episode, in the Faces segment, we have Kate. She let me stay in her home in North Las Vegas a few weeks back. She recently signed up to become an Airbnb host, and why not? She has a beautiful home, and she lives in one of the top travel destinations in the United States. Staying at Kate's home several miles off the Strip was a nice change from staying at a hotel casino. First, there's no temptation to wake up in the middle of the night to go downstairs and play a little because you can't sleep. Second, it's kind of nice to get a little bit of a break from the crowds and the noise and the smoke. And of course, there's Kate. She's awesome. She's a great host. She's also willing to play tour guide and show you the sights and sounds of downtown Las Vegas. I may have to take her up on that the next time I stay at her place. Here's my conversation with Kate. Okay, so Kate, thank you for sitting down with me.
Absolutely, thank you.
And Aaron. I guess this is the one question that I've been dying to ask you. Are you able to travel to Europe based on the revenue that you brought in from Airbnb? Is that
absolutely? It's not my day job that's paying for this trip.
That's amazing. When I put that together in my head,
yeah,
I was impressed and amazed.
Absolutely. And I've only been doing it since the end of February. Mm-hmm. And I thought, if I'm going to continue to do this, I need to put that money towards experiences. Mm-hmm. And so that's what made my Europe trip come true.
And this is your first trip to Europe because of Airbnb.
Absolutely.
I'm staying here in Las Vegas tonight at Kate's place through Airbnb, and we're not getting a kickback in any way for promoting them. This is just a new thing that I've never done before. How have you found
This is your first Airbnb experience?
It is.
Oh my God. I love hosting people the first time for Airbnb.
How has your experience with them been for the short amount of time that you've been doing it?
It's been wonderful. And of course, whenever I tell people what I'm doing, the majority of the people react saying, aren't you scared? Isn't that dangerous? And I've never lived with that motto. Like, I've always felt like I'm safe, but I've never felt a danger. I've met some of the most amazing people. And even this trip to Europe, like, I've already planned like this Facebook post that I'm going to post tomorrow, that like to thank everyone that's shown up at my doorstep by themselves from other cities, from other countries. They're not fearful. If they can do it, I can too.
Wow.
So I've made some lifelong friends doing it.
Do you have anything memorable that you would be willing to talk about? Anything like a funny story of something that's happened while you had guests stay at your home?
The list is way too long to kind of just narrow it down. I can just say though, like while I'm in Europe, I have my original Airbnb guests coming back to house sit for me. So the people that come and show up at your house have just kind of like there's a consistent personality trait that runs through these people of adventure and a little spontaneity that are willing to do that. And so you just meet great people.
Which is funny because you brought up something that I did want to ask, but it's the kind of thing where I don't also want to ask because I ask you, so aren't you scared? All right, good night.
Right. Absolutely. You have to take precautions. Like, I'm not stupid about it, like, I mean, not to get too detailed, but like I have pepper spray in my room.
I mean, you stay here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I live here.
Okay.
I do Facebook creep people when they send me a request just to kind of see.
Oh.
Yeah. I have to know who's showing up at my door.
That is one of the things that I've been concerned about because I have zero online footprint.
Right. Yeah. No, that's it. Yeah, sometimes people don't have a Facebook and you take your chances. But again, I've never felt in danger.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing is one night someone knocked on my door because he thought that he was going to get lucky, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay. And does Airbnb have do you notify them and will they remove that person as a... I'm sure
I didn't feel at harm. I just told him no, and he retreated back to his room and it was fine. And of course, because there's a review system, people really don't do crazy things because it will end up online, your actions.
I just imagine you hitting him on the nose with a rolled up newspaper, just no!
Yeah, like a bad dog.
No, go back to your room.
Exactly. That was like the worst thing that happened. The best part is everyone comes to Las Vegas and on my profile a lot of people comment like, Kate parties hard, like she'll take you out on the strip, and so everyone comes here ready to play and party. And so I take these tourists out on the town and they come home and it's hilarious the next day because I'm up, makeup on, hair perfect, going to work at 9 and these people can't even get out of bed. So,
do you take them out to the places that locals enjoy, or do you take them to the...
I always take them downtown. It's where to go.
I just rediscovered downtown.
It's the best. You always have to start at the D, and then we go to Park, and I take them on the Hidden Seesaw. Yep, and then we always
wait, Hidden Seesaw? Say what?
Yeah,
where's that?
It's in a bar called Park. And then you always have to end your night. Well, not end it, but then go to Gold Spike and then end it at the D.
Oh, ended at the D doing...
more shots.
Okay. Because the last time we were here, I was myself, Aaron, and Katie, his wife, were here. And Aaron was wiped out. He went to bed. Katie and I went to downtown. Well, he drove.
Okay, fair.
This time I drove. That's why I'm the tired one this time.
Okay.
But we went to the container park. We stumbled upon the container park, and we were blown away by how cool it was.
That is a very cool venue.
With the fire coming out of the praying mantis, the cute stores that they have there. It's...
Downtown's the best.
So you've actually watched it the last 3 or 4, not even 3 or 4 years, 5 years, slowly come back.
Yes. I went to high school at a property that's right downtown, and you want to talk about being born and raised in Vegas. Like, is it any different from anywhere else? And I can't truly tell you yes or no because I don't know any different.
Yeah.
But I know from our English classroom window, you could see hookers getting arrested across the street. And that was normal.
Wow.
But we've seen it get cleaned up a lot.
Yeah, it really has, because I took a little 5-year hiatus, and,
Okay.
and I'm finally back. As of this last December, I started coming
welcome.
back again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for paying our taxes.
I have no idea what I have no idea what happened to the downtown, but because last time I was here, trashy.
I know.
This time, it's a brand new city. It's almost there.
Yeah.
It's getting there little by little, and now that you have the Life is Beautiful.
Yes.
And you have what was the other one that was here?
Rock in Rio. Mm-hmm. Went to that.
Have you ever had someone come here and to stay, and they just not spent 1 minute in the room?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like one time I thought like they might complain and ask for their money back because they like were only here for a couple hours.
Yeah.
But that's Vegas.
That's
if
exactly
you stay
why I
out till
think it's-
6 a.m.
That's exactly why I think it's brilliant to do Airbnb in Vegas.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't see these people much.
Can we talk about your work a little bit?
Oh yeah, of course.
So, one of the things that I do love about this city is the luxury you get to experience. So, just for even a weekend, you get to pretend like you're a king or a queen,
Right.
red carpet treatment, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Spa treatments are very much a part of that.
They are.
As far as gratuity goes, because this is one thing that I really never know how to do, or
Okay.
it's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
What is the customary way to do tipping when it comes to spa treatments, massages, etc.?
Absolutely. Well, the spa industry in Las Vegas has changed within the last few years, and now the majority of properties, especially in the hotel industry, are doing an auto grat. So it's an automatic 20% service charge that's added on to the full price of the treatment. Upon checkout, guests are informed they can modify, remove, add to their discretion. But a lot of times when you come out of massage treatments, we call it like a spa high, like your spa buzz, spa drunk.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It really is meant to be a convenience where you don't have to do any math when you come out of your treatment. It also is because we are a tourist-based city. A lot of countries aren't used to tipping. So it is kind of just like a friendly reminder
Right.
that gratuity is definitely appreciated here because a lot of times that's the majority of the paycheck that people are living off of.
Yeah. So what if it's not automatically calculated into what is the
Absolutely.
appropriate amount? Because I do know when you go to eat, it's 15, 20.
Yeah, spa is just the same, 15 to
Okay.
20%.
Okay. In terms, and this is, I'm following up on something that I heard that I don't know if it's a rumor. I'm trying to track this
Okay.
down if this is true. In terms of working at a spa, how does that fall into the hierarchy of jobs that are here? Because people will kill for a bartender job. People, I had heard, and I don't know, this is the rumor that I heard, that valet jobs are the most sought after jobs here. Is that true? And where does
Absolutely. I mean, you make a lot of money doing valet.
Is that top?
And being a
Like,
bartender.
yeah.
You do. A massage therapist,
because
people in the
that
spa and salon. If that's your industry, of course, getting into a hotel, casino would be like the highest point that you can get to versus
Yeah.
working at a day spa or even a private practice.
yeah.
But there's a lot of training that goes behind that. And not saying that valet or bartenders don't have training that go behind it, but there's a lot of schooling that goes behind becoming a massage therapist or an esthetician. It's about $12,000 worth of school.
Yeah, you need to be certified.
You have to be certified,
Yeah.
and you have to enjoy
It's a
healing
commitment.
people.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You're touching bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as pleasant maybe as one might think.
Yeah, I mean, and it is a commitment to want to do, because if you're going to spend $12,000 to do it. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of, let's say, the PG-13 rated taboos.
Okay. Okay.
Has anything happened along those lines?
PG-13, yes. We have a lot of guests that will enter the treatment room. So you're in the treatment room where you're going to be getting your massage, and your massage therapist is in there going over just the basics, confirming the appointment that you're receiving, letting you know whether they're going to start the treatment face up or face down. And some guests take it upon themselves to disrobe themselves at this time while the treatment or while the technician is still in the treatment room. And as harmless as these people may think it is, that they say they do it in Europe or wherever, it's fine that their massage therapist at home allows them to do this. It actually is against their massage license to be in the room while the guest is disrobing. They really need to be outside of the room before the guest takes their robe off to get underneath the sheets.
Okay. This is just kind of a slightly odd question, but Las Vegas and Los Angeles share a lot of the same people every weekend.
Yeah.
There was a segment that aired on Conan O'Brien maybe about 2 months ago where Conan and Stephen Yun went to go visit one of the Korean spas in downtown Los Angeles.
Okay.
Because it's very popular in LA. Has that changed anything here? I guess what I'm getting at is how often do the trends change in your industry? You know, fish that eat the dead skin off your feet. Like, does the industry
constantly
change?
changing.
Yeah?
It's constantly changing.
But you know what I'm talking about, the fish.
I know what you're talking about with the pedicures and eats, absolutely.
I just needed that affirmation so people didn't think I was crazy.
No, there is a thing where they put the fish in the pedicure bowls and it's supposed to eat the dead skin
and you put your feet into the water with all these little fish and they come running up to you. The fish come swimming up to your feet and eat the dead skin.
Yes. So absolutely it's constantly the trends. I personally have 45 vendors that I deal with that I use, but on a daily basis, like just today, I met with 2 new vendors, and you have to pitch it to sound different than everything else. Even like a simple example of toothpaste, right? You think toothpaste is toothpaste, but you go down the aisle and some of them brighten, some of them freshen, some of them are for sensitive, some of them are for whatever. And so you constantly, this is mud from the Dead Sea of wherever, they could have pulled it out of their backyard. You don't know, but they have to make it sound different than every other mud product that's on the market.
What's one of the oddest ones that you've had that you've seen pass through in your years of working the industry? Because I actually did. Here's the crazy thing. There's a TV show called Bullshit. Penn and Teller did a show on Showtime a number of years ago where they punked people, as it were, by putting snails on their face.
Okay.
And the snails will leave the little sticky trail all over their face. And after they pull the snails off, it dries up and kind of feels tight on your skin.
Yeah.
And people actually believed that was a thing that spas will do. This aired on TV maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
I recently saw a news story where they are doing that now in LA and actually selling it legitimately.
Right. Well,
have you seen anything? Not just where you work now, but just that you've maybe heard or.
I've heard some crazy things. I don't think it's appropriate for. No, it's everything. Like, that's the thing is with our industry, it's interesting because you could be selling a $150 bottle of cream for your face, or you could read another magazine that's saying go home and put egg whites on your face. Could you get that same tightening effect? Yeah. So it's beauty. It seems, there's many different ways to achieve that beauty that you're looking for in regards to that.
Yeah. A little bit of behind the scenes of the conversation that I had with Kate. I had been up for about, 48 hours straight by the time I had a chance to talk to Kate, with just one little quick nap somewhere in between. So that's why I ramble on about Conan O'Brien and Penn and Teller, because at the time, I thought I was telling really funny anecdotes and I thought I was asking really on-point questions. And in hindsight, not so much. But Kate was gracious enough to carry me through the conversation, and she answered the questions that she thought I was trying to ask. So I thank her for that. If you would like to consider staying at her place on your next trip to Las Vegas, you can find her information over on our website, facesandaceslv.com. I will include her Airbnb profile in the show notes for episode 5. For the Aces segment this week, mostly because I had gone out there recently, and Adam, if you have something you want to contribute after I bring up this Ace, feel free to drop in anything that you really like about Las Vegas. Sure. But the Ace that I found this past trip was the Element Hotel in Summerlin. This place is a green hotel. I'm not a huge environmental guy, But, I do my share and try to do what I can. And staying here just kind of inspired me to try a little bit harder. This place is LEED certified. Rather than having ice machines and, burning up all that electricity, they simply have little water fountains here and there for you to refill your water bottles. And if you want some ice, they have, you could go down to the front desk and they'll provide you with whatever ice that you need.
And if you want electricity, you just crank the wheel and get electricity. I mean, to what end?
They give you fuzzy slippers and you walk around scuffing your feet on the carpet, then you touch the light switch, and that's how it works. But no, it's just a great little place. They have bike rentals there for free. You just hop on a bike and you could go explore the canyons, or, it's kind of a
eco hotel for LA people.
Yeah, they would really appreciate that. And
Not all LA people, but
you know what I'm talking about. Oh, and one of the best parts, no resort fee.
Oh, that's good.
No resort fee, free internet, which you don't have to.
No splash page.
No splash page. You just turn on the computer, open your browser, and you're connected to the internet. Amazing.
That's rare. Yeah.
I might have to go back to that hotel and do a little bit of a security evaluation for our next report.
They have the continental breakfast. Another thing is the shampoo. With most hotels, this goes back to the green thing. Most hotels, they have your little bottle of shampoo. They have one that's mounted on.
Of course they do.
Exactly, mounted on the wall, so that way they just refill it every several weeks, so they're not constantly going through plastic bottles of little shampoos.
You always got to worry about someone putting something in there, though, before you, right?
Exactly. You don't know.
That's my concern.
This is a conversation that three guys would have, because I did look into that, and it's locked. It locks with a key.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
it
would
doesn't
feel-
mean you can't suck things up into it if you really cared. So let me ask you, what was with this hotel? Did they give you towels, or was it like dry off because that's better for the environment? Just like walk around.
We would just air dry, stand naked in front of an open window, and that pretty much took care of it. It's so hot in Vegas, it only takes 15 seconds.
It is pretty hot in Vegas.
So you're not standing naked out in front of that window that long.
What always gets me about the hotels with the environmental thing is where they say they have the nice little card that goes, "We care about the environment."
Yeah.
And if you want to have us wash your stuff, put it in the tub, and if you don't do that, then we'll use the same sheets and everything. And it's like, why don't they just say what it is? Why don't they just say, we're really trying to save money, and you do this, and that's why we didn't raise your price?
Because they get to look good the other way.
I mean, they say it's eco, whatever. Because it's eco, I need to be taking out my sheets and putting them in the wherever in the basket so that they can wash it.
I know. You and I, Aaron, are on like different sides of the track on this one. I know you like the luxury, the niceness, the fresh sheets, the clean sheets. Whereas me, I'm kind of like, as long as it's a room to rest my head on, turn out the lights, it's all the same room. That's the way I see it. Gosh,
we could argue a lot about that.
Another just little thing, the little piece of paper that you put in the door on the other side to let the people know that rooms
to not come in.
Right.
Yeah.
For them, rather than use the paper, it's a little magnet that you could stick on your door, so it's sustainable. And so that's one of the little things that I did notice about this place. So it's in Summerlin, and it's 20 minutes to the Strip if you drive local, maybe a little bit shorter if you drive freeway, and it's about maybe 5 to 7 minutes to Red Rock. The reason why we stayed there, and this is the biggest reason of all, is because they're pet friendly. A lot of dogs were staying there. And the Red Rock Hotel, Resort, and Casino is not pet friendly. So that's why we could not stay there.
So it's surprising that Red Rock's not pet friendly.
Yeah, it's a very smart way to go if you're looking to attract people to stay. I mean, Caesars has a great pet stay policy.
Yeah, especially with Red Rock being a big a place for conferences too. That's kind of shocking.
Actually. Yeah.
They do care about high rollers though, so I bet if you are a gambler and you do gamble at Red Rock, they wouldn't care if you bring a dog.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think if you're a high enough roller, if you're a whale, you get to write whatever you want to do. You could smoke in the non-smoking rooms. You can,
Yeah.
Whales get to do whatever they like.
And we'll see. We'll see on my next trip what I can get away with.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't tell our listeners. I just told you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be going with a high roller family friend, and they were initially going to be staying at the Fairway Villas at the Wynn, but they just changed things up. So now we're going to be doing Skylofts at Aria. So I will be able to check out that pool when I'm there and ask the butler a few questions about their flammability of their trees.
There you go. See, I'm like the total opposite. I'm like so low roller. I'm just happy to let me like use the pillows and stuff. I don't ask for anything extra.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty low roll myself, but I'm going to someone this time that, you know, it's like a once in a lifetime for me.
Yeah, it's opportunity. I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
I will take a lot of pictures to make you even more jealous.
Yeah. So let's see. Do you, Adam, or Aaron or Adam, jump in? Do either of you have any aces you want to drop in this week? Something that you saw recently that you want to share with the listeners? Aaron, you're shaking your head. Nothing jumps out at you?
Well, we have a little outline of what we're going to talk about, and I didn't fill anything in on my side of the outline.
Alrighty. Hold on. I got to pull something up.
You done messed up, Aaron!
Were there any aces that you thought of during the little rant?
One thing that I've been enjoying recently is I have listeners that ask really good questions. Mm-hmm. And one recently that asked me, he's a teacher like myself, and he asked me, do you know of any places that have table games under $5 in Las Vegas? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I could think of like one off the top of my head. And so I kind of put it out there, and we had a ton. So there's actually, speaking of being low roller, there's like 6 or 7 casinos that offer games under $5. So it's definitely something to look into. They're all pretty much downtown, but I got to give it to downtown right now because their gaming is up, so their gaming revenue is up, and the strip is down. Mm-hmm. And so they're really kind of showing people, where to have a good time right now for cheap gaming and good blackjack. So I'll give it up to Fremont Casino because they always 24/7 have a $3 craps table and a $3 blackjack game running. So, yeah.
You wrote an article about that recently on your blog, didn't you, on the website?
Yeah, that was because of the listener emails, and then I just took to Twitter and asked people. I remember, for some reason, I forgot Fremont. I knew El Cortez, and I did Casino Royale, but I had a bunch of people kind of in Vegas at the time saying, yeah, here's where I saw some tables. I was actually quite surprised. So it was 24/7. You can find a game under $5, and even some 3 to 2 tables.
Can you direct our listeners to your website where they could find that article?
Yeah, if you just go to vegasfanboy.com and click on gambling on the right-hand side under categories, you can find pretty well all the gambling articles, but that one should be right at the top.
Okay, so that'll do it for the Aces segment for this week, unless you had anything else you wanted to drop in, aside from, your podcast and your website is definitely an ace. I've recommended that before to our listeners, and I do like the complimentary nature of it, especially recently. Your podcasts have been just so chock full of information. They're not the kind of podcasts you just listen to and delete when you're done. They're the kind of podcasts you store on your mobile device because it's the kind of resource you want to have with you when you're in Vegas. It's good stuff you're putting out there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and that was actually something surprising for me. I actually, on my last trip, used my own site as a resource. And I never thought it was going to happen. Because I do kind of unabashedly outsource a lot of information because I know I'm not an expert. So like with blackjack or video poker, I talk to other people. Mm-hmm. So I kind of accumulate that, and of course, give them credit. And then so sometimes, like I did a poker show with a guy who's a poker player in Vegas. Yeah. And I'm like, I really want to find this table or a good place to play. I'm like, I guess I'll just check my own site and ask the room.
I am very excited about today's Tip the Player segment. But before we get to the tip, I need to explain that the Tip the Player segment is the part of the show where we ask Vegas locals to share some of their useful knowledge about the city. In return, we provide the gentle reminder to you, the listener, when you visit the beautiful city of Las Vegas, please don't forget to mind your manners. Clean up after yourselves, use the trash cans, basically be good people. It's so easy to let go and go wild in Vegas, but for the people who call Vegas their home, we got to remember to respect their city. Okay, enough of the preaching. Here's why I'm excited about the Tip the Player segment this week. On a recent trip to Vegas, I stopped by the amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con, where I met two very sweet, very kind, and very funny people, Fluffy Kitten and Gotham PD. I had so much fun meeting them because I got to geek out and talk about Batman, anime, and just other geek stuff. The full interview with them will run in episode 6, where they will provide a very unique perspective of Las Vegas. But here they provide some of the best local tips that we've received so far. So enough of me, let's get into it. Here is the Tip the Player segment.
I think one of my biggest tips, ladies, trust me, you want to keep your shoes on. I know your feet hurt, but bums pee all over the place. They don't have restrooms. They will pee in the casino on the carpet. Trust me, you want to keep your shoes on.
At least bring like a pair of socks or
those little flats you can buy and
the fold-out flats. Make sure you have something, because I mean, we walk these streets and we know. I mean,
they are very gross.
Very dirty. I mean, not besides the bums, you have people that get in fights. There's blood on the streets. They just wipe or wash that away. There's no
they're not very sanitary about it.
Wow.
Yeah, there's nothing, people spit on the streets. It's bad. And we see girls, and I feel bad for them. I know their feet are hurting because our feet hurt too, but we always bring a pair of shoes or something to cover our feet because it is so dirty.
And if you step on a piece of glass and that glass is covered in somebody's blood with who knows what, you're going to catch it.
Yeah, so that might be the best tip that I've heard so far.
Aw, thanks.
It's definitely a serious thing, and a lot of people don't really realize it or think about it just because
they're drunk. They can't even see straight. Plan ahead.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but that's definitely something that women really need to think about. I mean, guys
are usually pretty good about not walking around barefoot.
Is there anything that you would like to promote to let the audience know that's something that you're doing where they can find you?
Just Google Fluffy with an I, Kitten, and you'll find all my websites and my art and whatnot.
And we're going to provide links on the website as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's about all I got. And then, if you are somebody who likes vaping or you're trying to quit smoking, there is a store here called I Heart Vape. And these people are amazing. They're very fair on prices, and they will explain how to do everything, and they're very helpful, and they're probably my favorite vapor shop here. So
where are they located?
They are just right down the street from the Hustler Club. I'm not sure the address, but I could probably give that to you later and have you put it in.
That's one of the other cool things. Do you have any good off-strip places people need to visit?
Mount Charleston. I mean, people who are used to mountains, it's nice, but for desert people like us, there are actually trees out there. I didn't think there was, but I went up, and sure enough, it is a real forest.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. All right.
So if you're trying to escape the heat, it's also cooler up there because it's up pretty high. So that's a good spot.
Okay.
I'm trying to think now. I'm like, gosh, places off strip. I know we go to them all the. Oh, you know what? If you want really good breakfast, Baby Stacks.
Baby Stacks.
Oh my gosh, you have to, while you're out here, you have to try their food. It is amazing. The wait is crazy because it is so good,
and people will wait because it's so good.
Yeah. It's amazing. They have the best red velvet pancakes I've ever eaten in my entire life.
Sold.
Yeah, so good, so amazing. Baby Stacks, definitely, they're really good. So that's definitely off strip. I don't think I've ever seen one even close to the strip before.
Okay, that's a good one. And then, did you have something you wanted to promote?
Let's see, promoting. If anybody is ever interested in getting invested or involved with the cosplay group that I talked about earlier, doing that with the children's hospitals, Gotham PD Cosplay, that's my Facebook page. You can always check that out and see if I'm working on getting a group together in California. Going to try to put together some awesome events for cosplayers. So that would be definitely cool if anybody wanted to check that out.
And that's going to do it for this special episode of the Faces and Aces Las Vegas podcast. Thank you to Fluffy Kitten and Gotham PD for providing great tips and suggestions for the Tip the Player segment. We'll hear more from them next week, and of course, all of their suggestions, plugs, and charities will appear in the show notes. Thank you also to Kate. I'm so happy that your trip to Europe was everything that you hoped it would be. We'll put a link to Kate's Airbnb profile in the show notes if you'd like to consider staying at her place your next trip to Vegas. And a special thank you to Adam for joining us and filling in for Katie. Adam's website is vegasfanboy.com and his podcast is called Vegas Fanboy, the Las Vegas podcast dedicated to low rollers. We here at the podcast have decided to put out one new episode every other week. So next week we don't have a new show, but Adam over at the Vegas Fanboy podcast will. So if you're jonesing for a Vegas fix in between shows, please check out our friend Adam. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. We would sincerely appreciate it. Thanks to Aaron for co-hosting, and thank you for listening. And remember,
What happens in Vegas
ends up on the podcast.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Man, I love this town! Oh, woe is me. Or woe would be me. Except this is Vegas, so I've got a card or two up my sleeve.
Go.